All right, so, oh, gotta always have to start here. So today is, oh, what day is it? Day 8. Jeez. Day 8 of the Java Stack. It's Wednesday of week 2. This is the afternoon session. So this morning we finished all the CRUD, if you will. So we did create, read, update, delete. The only thing we're missing is the validators. So I leave those out just because I think it strips it down. It's easier to see like what's going on first, then we can go back and add them later. So that's what we're going to do this afternoon. So it should be relatively quick. Shouldn't be too long of a session. So let's take a look at what we did this morning. So what did we do this morning? What did I do? What did I add? We had create.
Update and delete.
Yeah, we just did update and delete, right?
Hey, brother, you know?
So in terms of actual additions, actual files we added, we only added to our views, right? So we added a view for the show, the new, we added a view for update. So let's put that in. So we added a view for update, and the file was called edit.jsp. Okay, and let me change that to edit as well. Oh no, edit. There we go. Cool. So now we need to check for validations, right? So if I run my application, Manuel, I'm going to mute you. Let's run it. And go to localhost 8080. Okay, so right now, if I go into create a book and just hit submit, it'll make an empty book, right? Which we don't want. So what's the first thing we need to do if we want to use validations? Oh, no worries, Emmanuel. You're cool. So like everything else in Spring, we add annotations to add functionality, right? So if I want to prevent that from happening, prevent from being able to add an empty book, I go to my controller, main controller. So basically, where do I want to catch that? Where is that happening? Where am I creating an empty book?
Under the post mapping.
Yeah. So right here, basically, it'll just take in book and it just lets it on through, right? So I want to prevent that. So the syntax for that is let's go to the right place. Here, so I'm all lost. Here we go. So we want to start with at valid. Okay. And there's no comma. I always forget if there's a comma or not. So at valid, and then we use an object known as binding result. So that is actually binding result is the class. We want to make an instance of binding result. So we just call it result. And actually, I think they may pluralize it on the platform. It's probably better. Let's pluralize it. So binding result, results. Now, it doesn't know what I'm talking about. Why are these underlined? It doesn't know what valid is. It doesn't know what binding result is.
You need to import them.
Exactly. Anytime we want to use anytime we want to use annotations, got to import them. So let's go back. Let me save this for now. So if I go to my README, I added, yeah, so here are the dependencies for validations. So you can get it from the platform, you get it from wherever you want to get it. But this is what we need to add to our POM file for those validations to work. So I'm going to copy this, go into my POM, and I'm going to put those at the bottom. Make sure I put them in the right place. And paste. Okay.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Because I follow you, where we can find those? Do we have them in our platform?
Yes. So if you go to the platform, and again, if everything you're going to need is at the bottom of the MVC section in this appendix.
Appendix, yeah.
So scroll down to, so all the dependencies, which one is it? Right here. So this one right here.
Dependencies for using validation annotation. All right, thank you. Perfect.
Yeah, you're welcome. And we've almost got all of them. We only have one more dependency. When we get to this, we need the dependency for bcrypt, and we'll get that when we do login and reg.
We can just carry over that code to every project we.
Yep.
make, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. And we had some issues last month with the POM not working. Some of the dependencies were outdated. I think they fixed it. So you should just be able to copy this whole thing moving forward and just use it from project to project.
Got it.
Okay, so now that I've added that to my POM file and I didn't mess it up, I'm going to save the POM. And when I hit save, it's going to ask me if I want to synchronize, and I click yes. And I think if you click always, it'll always do it, but I just do this to remind people. So click yes, that will import my dependency. Now if I go to my main controller, it still doesn't know what they are, but I can Alt-Shift or Alt-Shift-O on Windows. What is it on Mac? Option? Command or option?
Option.
Option, yeah. So Option-Shift-O on a Mac. Okay, so now those validations are there. So let's see what happens. If I go back to my books, try to create a book, absolutely nothing. Look at that. I can edit the empty book. I can keep creating empty books until, what am I missing?
The validation rules inside your model.
The validations, right? It doesn't know what to validate, so I've got to tell it. So in my model, I need to specify which fields I want to validate and what I want the validations to be. So if I go back to, just close everything. Go to my models, my book. I want the author to be, I don't know. What should the author be? Let's say not null, right? Because we want to have something in there. So it's at not null. And let's say I want it to have a min and a max number of characters. So let's say at size, I want a min of 2, max of, I don't know, 20. Is that too little, too few? Well, let's say I want a message. I spell message? Yeah. Message to be,
No,
did I spell it wrong?
S.
No, yes.
M-E, oh my gosh, M-E.
MES.
There, M-E-S-S. Yeah?
Yep.
Cool.
Yep.
Spelling has nothing to do with intelligence, by the way. At least that's what I tell people. So message is, now I'm all thrown off. Whatever you want, right? I'm just messing around. So it doesn't know what size is, which scares me. Let's see if I can import it. Yeah, cool.
You know
So
what? Mine got imported automatically. I don't know why.
yeah, sometimes it does. Sometimes it's yeah, hit and miss. Sometimes it imports, sometimes it doesn't.
Good.
So now I've told it what I want. Let's see what happens. Let me save the file. So now at least the author field should not be allowed to be blank. So let's see if I did author. Let's just submit, see what happens. Still doing it. Jeez.
Do you need to specify which one is that not going to be used?
Say again?
Do you need to specify where the not null will be used? Because it looks like it's just one line there.
What do you mean? Like in the
Like,
model
how do we
map?
add the
Y-
specifications for each?
Yeah, because it seems like not null is just sitting there and then
Oh,
private string.
I
Yeah.
put that's because that was my mistake. Sorry. It should be right above what I wanted to modify.
So you don't enclose it in a curly braces to include it in that
No.
statement.
No, it's just an annotation. So this not null and at size, when it's directly above the property, it applies to this property.
Yeah, pretty much like the ID.
I'm sorry?
Pretty much like the ID.
Yes, exactly. So the ID, when we specify that the ID, the capital ID is special, the generated value tells it to increment. Yeah, so same
Got it.
thing, same basic idea. We want this to be not null, and we want the size to be at least 2 characters and less than 20.
Got it.
All right, let's try that again.
So we have to fix the rerouting, correct? So that if it's not valid, it reroutes to the same form
Yeah. What do you mean? What do I do?
in the main controller.
Yes. What do I do? What do I do? I'm lost. I forget. I'm just kidding.
I don't know. All I know is you have to do like if it's not correct, it will rewrite or redirect you back to
Yeah.
the main form.
Right. So we got to put a check in here, right? We got to check to see if the validations fail. So why is it doing this? I'm going to put these all on one line because I'm getting confused. So valid, model attribute, binding result. Move this up. Okay. So we're going to do if results dot has errors. Okay, so if it has errors, just like the teacher, the student turns in the form and they're missing something, the teacher corrects it, hands it back to them and says, go fix it, right? So what we want to do is if there are errors, we want to hand back the form. So how do we hand back the form? What does that mean?
You return redirect and whatever the route was to render the form.
Return. Yeah, so we don't want to redirect. We want to give them back the JSP that we handed them initially. So we're going to return just that new .jsp.
If you redirected it to the same route that renders the form, is that like bad practice then? Or would that not work?
I think the errors won't show up.
Okay.
I think. I don't remember what happens, but I know this is the syntax. If they get it right, then we redirect. But I think redirecting here, it doesn't. I forget what breaks, but it doesn't work. We can try it in a second. We'll see what happens. So if they're right, if there are no errors, right, we say else. Then we want to do basically what we were doing before, right? So we just move this inside the else. Okay. So now if I try it, try to create a book, it's still not working. What am I doing wrong?
You have to restart it.
Probably. Let's try that. I feel like I'm forgetting something else, but we'll see. So create a book. I'm doing the right form, right? Yeah. There we go.
I think you get to put the books forward
That's-
slash new.
You're absolutely right. Yep. Books new.
It was like
Finally.
mine. It was like mine.
Trial and error, right? Trial and error. So there we go.
Wait,
So
which form is it referring to? Because there's two, create and submit.
yes, good. So in my controller, or I'm sorry, in my new, I was demonstrating the difference between the two. So if I go to, I'm lost, web app, books, new. So the old form is on top. The new form is down below, right? So the reason we're getting this error message is because of this. We have form errors. Okay, so if I were to fill out the form on top, first of all, it's not going to work because I don't have my request attributes anymore. But the form we want to use and the form that our validations are going to work with is the new and improved form. Does that answer your question, Jay?
Yeah.
Cool. All right. So, any questions?
That's it?
That's it.
Wow. So
So this new JSP is it's like a control for the new books that you create.
Yeah. That's all you do. That's if there are errors, it's all handled through the JSP. So if we get anything, if we set, all we have to do, let's do another one so you guys can see again. So I want to validate for the title. Okay,
Is
so
the
now,
validation for integer different if it's
yes. Yes.
okay.
So let's do not empty. Wait, not empty or not blank. One of them stronger. I think it's not blank. So let's do at size min equals, let's say 3, max of 100. I can't think of a title that would be longer than that. And then message equals I'm on. Okay. So now if I go to, I'm already checking for the validations, right? So in my main controller, results.has errors. If those validations aren't met that I set up on my model, then has errors is going to be true. And then we're going to hand back the form. Okay. If it works, then it should create the book. Okay. So now if I go back.
1 second. Do you need to put a space between the author and pages?
Ooh, let me see what I do. Where?
Book. Yeah.
Oh,
Line 26 and 27.
That shouldn't matter. That should be fine. The space
Okay.
between, this should be directly on top of what it's modifying, but that doesn't matter.
Okay.
Thank you though. That could have been an issue. Okay, so now if I submit, I get both of my messages, and it's not going to let me submit a book that doesn't have a title and doesn't have an author. So let's say the title is, I hope this works. And the author is good old Tyler Maxwell. So this should, because I haven't done any validations for pages yet, should let me submit a book with just an author and a title. And it's way down here, it does. Let me delete some of these. Okay. So if I want validations for pages, if I don't want to have an empty pages list, how do I do that? What do I need to add?
What's the difference between not null and not blank? Or is it essentially the same?
So not blank is more strict. I think you can have.
Well, wouldn't null be anything that's empty though?
So let me see. I think this is the difference. If I come
You
in,
can put a spaces in a null.
yeah.
Oh,
So
I see.
if I put as an author, if I come into the author and hit the space bar, nope, that's not it. Refresh.
I think the first one was the one that was
Was it
null. Yeah.
The title.
title?
So
You're
we
right.
added space in front of
All this stuff.
title.
So we'll put a space bar in here. Nope.
Hmm.
Am I losing it? Don't answer that. Not null is. Oh, but I have a size. I
Oh,
have a
it's
minimum
2.
of 2. Yeah. So that's the default message. So I think if I need for the not null to, I need to take this out. And then I would definitely have to restart. Okay, so now refresh. No. So that works. But the author went away. That's because that's what I did it on. Oh my God, I'm such a bonehead. Okay, so now. So. Not null on the author. So I should be able to put spaces in here. Let's do that. Put something in here. There we go. So yeah, it'll take the not null will let you put in empty spaces. But if I do it, if I did that same thing for the title, it'll check it.
Okay, so not empty is the better one, I guess.
Yes, not empty is yeah, because not null will let you submit an empty string, but
Okay.
not blank won't. Or yeah. All right. Now let's validate for the integers. So let's go ahead and do not null. Because I don't think for integer, you can't have a null integer, right? And for integers, it's, oh my God, I'm drawing a blank, min. So if I want at least 1, I would set the min to 1. Let me import that. Save it. Rerun. Okay, so now if I go back, refresh.
If we want to add a message, do we just add it in the min? Because we added it in size, but can we add it in the min?
Yes, I
Okay.
believe it. Let's see. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, there's a default on the not nulls, right?
Mhm.
But yeah, so if I put 0, it should prevent it, and it does. Yeah. So my message comes up when the min is matched. But I think yeah. Let's just try to add a message. So min, comma message. Maybe it's not. Now it's mad at me. No, it doesn't. The message doesn't go here. There's a way to add a message. I can't remember what it is. I'll look it up and I'll let you know. Yeah. So this will just throw the default though. So it'll say default must be greater than 1. Okay. Wow. Create a book. So now all the validations, but the author doesn't show up because I took out the size. That's right. So now if I fill it out, it'll only add the book if I have the validations. Okay. Make sense?